You sell anything online, a product, a service, coaching, or consulting, then this video is for you as I break down for you my special EQ IQ rollover. This is the specific process that I've used to sell hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stuff online. I break this whole thing down in a keynote for Craig Ballantyne at his Perfect Life Retreat. I'm going to show you the whole thing right now. Good morning. It's like a B minus. Just there, Linda Riley, who is Craig's assistant, is outside, and I want her to pee in her pants. So on count of three, can you just light it up for me? On a count of three, I'll say good morning, and you just go as loud as you can, and then you're good. Is that cool? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Good morning! Linda's gonna be like, what the heck just happened? All right, grab your phones. Go ahead and take a picture of the screen. I'm gonna just give you all my slides because I will tell you I have probably 40 to 50 slides, and I'm gonna go fast, so you're going to need your phones. You're not gonna be able to write fast enough. So you're gonna take as many pictures as possible, because I wanna take a 1 day worth of content and workshop, and I wanna give it to you in 47 minutes. Okay, so this is gonna be fast. Is that cool? Okay, 19 people think this is cool. Is that cool if I can give you this? Thank you. In the morning, more than decaf, my goodness. So I gotta tell you a really interesting story. The interesting story is, I don't do a lot. How many of you got to hang out with us together last year? How many of you were here last year? Have seen me speak last year? Okay, close to half the room, awesome. The rest of you have no idea, who is this guy? What's he gonna talk about? Is it gonna be boring? I promise you some entertainment. So the interesting part is, I don't do a lot of these, and for next year, a year from now, I was talking to a big company about a keynote presentation. And we get it all sorted out. This was 2 weeks ago. We get it all sorted out, and they tell me, so Sharran, what's your title gonna be? What are you gonna talk about? Because we have to promote this next year. This is August 2020, right? And I said, well, what do you mean? It's what do you mean that I got to give you next year's title now? They're yeah, all our keynote speakers do that. I go, you're crazy. Do you have any idea what's going to happen in 3 weeks? I have no idea what I'm going to share in a year from now. They said, well, what do you mean? Do you care if I give you my canned 62 slides that I give in every presentation? Now you get yelled at by people in the back. He didn't like my 10. Come on, Austin. He's I like a sniper. Do not move. I don't want to give you a canned presentation. You know why? Because that sucks for you. And it sucks for me because I'm bored delivering the same 90 slides to you. And you're oh my gosh, I've seen Sharran speak once. It's the same exact thing. Okay, how many of you have seen me speak or seen my videos or seen my stuff? All right. What you're going to see today, you have never seen before. Let me tell you why. Because I want to share with you what I am doing this morning. I want to share with you what I'm doing last week. I want to share with you what is working right now. Yeah. Right now. Why? A year from now, I have no idea what I'm going to share in this keynote presentation. That makes no sense. So she honestly was you've got to come up with a way for me to come up with talking points. I was I have no idea what I'm going to share because the world is going to be a completely different place in 12 months. Well, do you agree? Yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, then you're okay, if that's the case, what the heck are you going to share with us today? So I want to give you a very quick story. So this guy called me from Auckland, New Zealand. Anybody been to Auckland? Auckland, great, amazing, beautiful city. A guy called me from Auckland, New Zealand. He was a friend of one of my best friends. And he said to me, he's Sharran, I'm really good at what I do. So he's in the real estate business. He's really good at what he does. How many of you believe that you're really good at what you do? Okay, thank you for the confidence. It's good. Yesterday, someone in this room, she is a very kind person. She's a writer. And she said, I'm really good at what I do. And I said, that's awesome. How's business? She says, business sucks. A lot of us sometimes are really good at what we do, but we haven't found a soft, simple, thoughtful way to get our message out and without being sleazy and salesy. The number one reason why you don't want to get on social media and sell is because you feel a little bit sleazy, a little bit salesy. Isn't that right? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. So this guy called me and he's like, hey, I've got to get something going on because I see all these people around me in the real estate business. I see all these people around me do so well, but they're not as good as what I do. They don't have the expertise that I do. So I asked him, I was like, well, what do you mean by that? So he tells me that he needs to make some money because his cash was running out. He had 6 months worth of reserves left. So I said, all right, you have 6 months worth of reserves left. We need a plan. Would you agree? Like, we need a plan. He goes, okay. And he tells me, Sharran, I will do whatever you say. Very dangerous when you tell me something like that. And I said, if you would really do whatever I say, I'm going to give you a 4-step plan right now. And if you do whatever I say, I promise you in the next 90 days, you will see money. He's like, I will do whatever you say. The interesting part is in 91 days, he found a listing opportunity for a $10 million condo on the harbor in Auckland. One in 91 days. Okay, one. That will pay him roughly $300,000. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. You know what he did? He said, Sharran, I'm so afraid to go on this appointment. I've actually scheduled it for the next time you're in Auckland. Can you go with me? I was like, dude, what else would you like me to do? Like, I'm going to go and close this deal for you. I was like, done. I'll go on this appointment with you. You know, we go on this appointment, and then I realize it's not one $10 million condo. It is 10 $10 million condos. He only was working on one, and we got all 10 that day, right? So he made $250,000 that day because he got a contract and a buyer, and it was 2.25 million, so a $2.5 million deal in the pipe in 91 days. Was there some luck in there? Sure. But I've got to find a way to give you that same 4-step plan because, like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about in 2020, but if there was something, if there was a plan that I could give somebody, if there was a plan that I could teach my children right now so that they can have a skill for life, this is what this would be. Cool? This is no like, oh, big picture, what is your vision? What is your mission? What are your values? I do not care. Okay? This is going to be extremely tactical. I'm going to say, hey, you get on the phone and you say these 3 things. And if you don't think that's good enough, if I am doing that in 10, 20, $30 million deals, regardless of what business you're in, you're going to be able to do it too. So I'm going to be extremely tactical with you. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So I talked to this guy, and he tells me his 4-step plan, and you do not want this. This is an old 4-step plan. So he used to be in the car sales business. He's like, Sharran, when I was in the car sales business, here's what they told me to do. They told me, you approach the person, and then you qualify them. And then you get them to commit, right? And then you close them. How many of you heard of some form of this as sales before? This is freaking crazy. You hate it. You hate when this is done to you. You go, how many of you have ever bought a car? And it's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm Slick Mr. Vic today. Like they approached you. Oh, and you know how they qualify you? You know what the standard car qualifying question is? Oh, looks like you rolled in on a 1972 Ford Fusion today. That's their qualification. The first thing that they do is they don't ask you what you're looking for. They see what you rolled into. That's qualification, right? And then they're like, oh, would you like to get something? They want to get you into a car right away, right, to test drive it. That's commitment. And then they do whatever it takes to start closing you. That's their process. But when someone tells you, hey, are you ready to, what do you say? Oh, I'm just looking. You say, I'm just looking. You are there to buy a freaking car. You know how much research you have done to get there? And you say you're just looking, you're lying. You know why? Because you hate the sleazy sales process. I don't want you guys to have to ever feel sleazy when you sell anything because especially you all raised your hand when you said you felt good and you felt like you had great expertise and you felt that you were going to deliver great things for your clients, yes? Yeah, so if we can give you a great process where you don't feel sleazy, would you do it more? So let me give you a different 4-step process. I'm going to break this whole thing down for you right now. The 4-step process is you don't want the approach, qualify, commit, close. That's sleazy. What you want is the attract, commit, clarify, and I'll tell you what CFL is. CFL is clients for life. Attract, commit, clarify, and clients for life, all right? So let me get right into it. Let's talk about the attraction. How do you attract clients? Isn't this the million-dollar question? How do you attract clients? You do not attract clients by saying, oh my gosh, look at that guy. He has money. He's sitting on a jet with all his money on Instagram. And he's like, whoa! That's not how you get clients. You look at it and you're like, that's half sleazy, but that's half cool. I wish I had a jet. Next post. Isn't that fair? That's not what your client is connected to, because if they come into your ecosystem that way, they're not going to buy squat. They're attracted to something so random. People today, did you know, Craig and Bedros and I were talking, you can actually go rent a bling setup. You can go rent a jet in a hangar, right? A Rolls Royce, a bag of cash for like an hour. And you can just bring your guy to shoot the whole thing for an hour, and you're done. You can actually rent that setup. I was like, that's the most brilliant business model ever, right? But that's not what you want. How do you attract a client? I'll give you the easiest way to attract a client. How many of you do email? How many of you have clients that email you questions? Right, almost all of us, or DM you questions, or how many of you have clients or products how many of people, clients or customers that ask you questions in some way? Okay, awesome. The way you attract clients is not by marketing to them. The way you attract clients is by giving them advice on the questions that your other clients are already asking you, right? Here's what you do. This is not difficult. Answer the questions in your email. I'm not joking. This is that easy. How many of you in the fitness business? Oh my gosh, I get so hungry late at night, I don't know what to do. I'm totally making that up. That is your post. I'll do a video form. The video is like, hey, I'm sitting here just looking at an email right now that one of my clients sent me. And the funny part is, I get this question maybe, 20 times a week. Let me read it for you. It's from Jimmy. Jimmy says, hey, Sharran, I'm really embarrassed to ask you this, but I get really, really hungry and cravings at night, and it completely throws off my keto diet. What should I do? You know what you do? You're like, let me tell you what I told Jimmy. And you just answer the question. You just answer the question. And then at the end, you know what you say? I'll give you the call to action, but then you just answer the question. You don't need, when I was with Craig came up with this really cool, 5x5 matrix. So if you're in Craig's mastermind, we all worked on this 5x5 matrix together. It was amazing. And you have content for life with this 5x5 matrix. It's very cool. But you got to put stuff in where you just answer, be real. Because you're not being sleazy. You're not like, oh, this ad did really well of my competitor, so I should copy that. No, take the question, answer the question. You know why? Because when you get that person on the phone with you, you're going to answer the same question again, and they're so excited that you actually delivered value in advance. You just have to answer questions every day that you already get asked. If you are not getting asked a lot of questions, that's a completely different problem that we need to solve, right? So would it be fair to say that you guys get a lot of questions that you can easily answer? Just answer a lot of questions. Anytime you write an answer to a question, I am not joking. You write an answer to a question, you actually write the answer to the question, and you do a post on it. That's as simple. If you don't want to be on video, that's fine. Here's what you do. You write the email, you take your phone, you point it to the email, and you just walk them through the email. I'm not joking. That's better than you doing a random post on an airplane with bling bling. People are like, oh, I don't look good. I can't. No, I'm ugly. I do video. You should do video, right? But you don't have to do. I kid you not. That's way better, because now that's actually better proof. It's better proof because they have actually seen the email that you're writing to a client. It's super powerful. It's super powerful. But step one of the process is attraction. And the problem with attraction is most people are very good at creating attracting material, but they don't know what to do with the next step. Once you've attracted a client, that's where the problem is. Now you're like, okay, I attracted this person. Where do they go? I have to do like some kind of call to action, be like, buy my shit. That's the problem, right? How do you do that in a soft way? Here's a soft way. The entire job of the attraction, based on your business, the entire job of the attraction is to drive them to get to click on your private calendar. Here's the process. Attract, tell them something cool, right? Actually, I'll show you this thing one more time. You attract, you tell them something cool, I'll tell you the process. You attract, you get them to commit by going to your calendar and getting a calendar appointment. You get them to clarify, and the clarification is you do a 15-minute strategy call, and I'm going to give you the exact blueprint for a 15-minute strategy call. I'm going to tell you exactly what questions to ask and how to do it. And then the client for life is, after the 15-minute strategy call, how do you present them to close them? Okay, that's the process. So the entire job is to get them to link to your private calendar. So your post would go something like this. So my friends down in Penny Patillo sell real estate in Laguna Beach, right? Here's what they would do. They would say, hey, I'm right here in this beautiful sunrise here in Laguna, and I was walking and I just happened to check my phone, and one of our clients asked this question. They're like, how do I buy a new home before I sell my current home? This is a question that we get asked all the time, and there's 3 big strategies that we do that. 1, 2, 3, right? And hey, if you're thinking about something like this, and you want this and how it applies to your personal situation, I put a link a link to my private calendar below. Just grab a 10-minute slot, and we can talk through it. Don't say, oh, there's a link somewhere on this page. Have you seen that? There's a link somewhere on this page, and you know what the reader is like? They start looking all over the screen. I'm serious. They're like, there's somewhere on the page. I'm like, oh, where's this link? You're like, no, there's a link below. Please click on our private calendar link and grab a time, and I'm happy to talk you through it. That's as simple. Be super soft about it, right? So if everything is, hey, if this is of interest to you, if you've been thinking about something like this, there's a link to my private calendar below. Happy to do it. If you want to do some scarcity around it, you can say, we were walking, and then we realized that we only do all these, we do these 15-minute strategy sessions with all our private clients, and I want to make sure that I open it up to my inner circle as well. So if you're a friend and connected with us in some way, and you want to brainstorm an idea with us, just like we do with our private clients, I have my calendar below. Just grab a 10-minute slot, and I'll be happy to help you with anything. Just make it soft, because that person watching that video or reading that post, and by the way, if you don't want to do a video, that's totally cool. You wrote an email to your client, copy paste the email, take out the client names, put it in your post, and say, if you like something like this, get a call below. You can use the post as well. If you're answering the question, use the answer. Good? Helpful? I want you guys to repurpose the comment, because the entire goal is this. You don't have 15-minute strategy calls, you're not selling squat. Unless you're selling, just say, hey, read my sales page, get a product online. That's hard. How many of you just have a straight up, read my sales page and buy a product? How many of you have that going on right now? Okay, good, like 4 people. Well, how many of you have you have to have some kind of consultation before they buy some kind of coaching-ish program with you? Okay, good. So you all know that you need this next step. If they schedule this, it gets very exciting. Now, you may be thinking, oh, Sharran, I know how this private calendar works. I have done more private calendar 15-minute strategy sessions than all of you combined. I'm not saying that because I'm amazing. I'm just saying that I've made every mistake in the book, okay? So I'm going to tell you exactly how this works. So here's how you get them to commit. I call this the threshold of commitment. I use a little program called Calendly. Have you heard of it? It's like $11 a month. It's stupid easy, right? Now the question becomes, how do you actually set up this private calendar? Let me give you the couple of tips around it. First thing, your appointment rate is going to significantly drop if somebody looks at your video and then schedules an appointment more than 3 days out. The show rate's going to drop, and when they come 4 days out, they don't even know what they actually signed up for. I would tell in your calendar, you can actually say no more than 3 days out. You want that, because if it's more than 3 days out, they do not remember. So no appointments more than 3 days out from that post. Okay? I actually had somebody sign up 7-8 days out, and I get on the call, they're like, hey, Sharran, I have no idea why I'm on this call. And then I was like, okay, this is my fault. It's my fault. It's not hers, it's my fault. The second thing, 3 reminders. And let me tell you exactly what cadence those reminders need to go out on. You can set this up in the automatic calendar software. Very simple. 1 reminder goes out right away saying, thank you for booking the appointment. It goes out automatically. 1 reminder goes out 24 hours before, and 1 reminder goes out 4 hours before. Do not change it. Like, do not change it. Unless you have something that works better, one goes out right away, one goes out 24 hours before, one goes out 4 hours before. That way you don't have to call to do anything like that. Good? Okay. If you want the warmest possible call, this is what you do. Let's say I have a call with Michelle Wilson. Michelle, let's say I have a call with you, right? And right before my call is at 9:30. I'm not even doing a video. I'm just taking a picture of myself. I take a picture of myself, click, and I texted to Michelle like 5 minutes before my call. Hey, Michelle, just getting ready for a call. Talk to you in 5. I am not joking. It instantly warms up that person because now they see you happy. It completely changes the chemical reaction, right? The idea is not, everyone is like, I need to get them on the call so they can be really good on the call. No, you have to have one before they arrive on the call. It needs to be a winning call. They're like, oh my gosh, I already love hanging out with the Sharran guy. I've not even called him yet. It needs to be that good. I will tell you, I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of strategy calls. If you did the first 3, things get very easy. A lot of time people will put an automatic Zoom link or a conference call link. Have you guys seen that happen? Don't do that. Don't do that. In your subject line, in your location field, you say, I will call you. Because now you take it upon yourself to call because you control how the call is. You call me like, hey, Michelle, it's Sharran. Excited to catch up with you today. Thank you so much for making time. Whatever your first few words are. And I always I'm like, hey, Michelle, how are you? Like, she's like, oh my gosh. Like, I just instantly get her out, get a pattern interrupt. I want to make the call. Because I know that if anything happens, I can call from whatever location I'm in. I don't want them to call me early. I don't want to be sitting there waiting for the call. Oh my gosh, she's 1 minute late. I want none of that. I want to do it. Just those 4 things will completely change your appointment show rate and how they show up for the appointment. Okay? Good. Is this somewhat helpful? Okay. I will tell you, you just do that. It will completely change how you do appointments. Now the question becomes, all right, you're like, that's cool, Sharran. The only goal is to get them to book it, so you got this, right? So here, the only goal is to actually get them to book the call. When they land on the page, the only goal is to get them to book the call. Because if they book the call, then we get into our next phase. So good so far. We attract with the questions that we already know. We get them to land on a page, and then we get to do this. I'm being extremely mechanical with you for a reason, because I believe that if you know the mechanics, you will actually have more confidence in getting this done. We all get stuck with 1 or 2 small things. We're like, I want to do a 15-minute strategy call, but how do I approach the call? What do I say? Like, do I build rapport in the first 5 minutes? Do I chit-chat the first few minutes? Do I actually try to close them, or do I try to get another call? Has that stuff gone through your mind? Yes, let's solve all of that. That was good, thank you. So now that you've got them on the call, here's the entire job for the call. Here's the entire job for the call. The entire job for the call is to clarify why exactly they're there. No other reason. You just want to clarify. And let me structure how you clarify this. So what exactly do you on this 15-minute call? Here's the structure. The goal is to actually determine whether they are ready for a presentation. That is the only goal. You're not trying to close them on the call because you did not tell them you were going to close them on the call. You told them to get on the call so you can help them. So if you close them on the call, you're out of integrity with why you're on the call, right? So now they're like, I got on the call, and Sharran was like, he just started to sell me on this stuff. No, you should just get clarification. So here's how the call works. First 5 minutes is the acceptance phase. The next 5 minutes is the clarification phase. And based on the clarification, you do one of 2 things. You can either help them or you can't help them. Do not try to help everybody, right? If they're not a good fit, you refer them out. If they're a good fit, I'll show you what to do. All right, you ready for me to go through the exact structure of a 15-minute strategy call? I will tell you this. The 15-minute strategy call structures, regardless of what business you're in, if you're not going to listen to me right now, you're going to lose a major skill that you can build in your life. If I were to teach my son today, who's 8 years old, one thing, I would teach him how to do a 15-minute strategy call. I am not joking. That's all I would teach him. You know why? Because we have been in business 25 years. Has anybody taught you how to do a 15-minute strategy call? No. You know how much money you paid in mastermind groups and coaches and events and seminars? They're like, set up a calendar link, get on a strategy call, and then close them. They don't tell you what to do. It's so frustrating. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because a year from now, some dumbass signed me up to be a keynote speaker, and they wanted me to give a canned presentation, and you guys get canned stuff. And only when you come to great events like this where Craig says, hey, you need to show up and give great value to my audience, talk about what you did yesterday, that you get good stuff. So can we get Craig Ballantyne a round of applause? I get really kind of ranty about this stuff, so I apologize. I've done a lot of stuff with Craig's mastermind group. Craig has an amazing mastermind group. Jason and I speak at it multiple times. And our goal when we're in that is to basically, I would do a full call role play in the mastermind group so people can actually get the full value from that, right? I can't go in, and imagine if I did that live with you. I would do that, I would give you a couple of tips, and then your next strategy call is so much better. The problem is, everybody teaches you front-end client acquisition. No one ever sees you talk to a client. So nobody can ever coach you. No one can ever help you. No one can ever share with you on a couple of tweaks that you can make your life so much better. Cool? All right. If you have not been paying any attention, please pay attention now, because all you need to know, if you can do this 15-minute strategy call right, a lot of things are going to change in your life, all right? When you get on the phone, okay, what is the first thing you should do? The first thing you should do is high energy. High energy is just a smile and higher volume. Hey, Michelle, it's great to connect. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I try not to say thank you so much for making time, because if making time means that she's doing me a favor. She's not doing me a favor. I'm doing her a favor. I'm giving her my time. So I love to say, hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And she's like, oh my gosh, Sharran, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And she's what? She's very guarded right now, right? She's guarded right now. The fastest way to break through the guarding is this. If you're on a strategy call with me, I would do this to you every single time. I've never changed this. I will do it all the time. I'd be like, hey, how are you tracking on your goals so far? How are you tracking on your goals so far? 9 out of 10 times, let me give you the answer. And you're thinking about it in your head right now. It's okay. Nobody has ever told me, oh man, I'm awesome, I'm crushing it. No one has ever told me that. And no one will immediately accept you, especially if they don't know you well, oh, I'm totally failing. They will not tell you that either. It's all right. What happens right then? This is the point where the good gets separated, not from the great, but the people who make a shit ton of money. Right then, this is what you do. Man, I hear you. Michelle, I hear you. Is it okay with you if I share something? You instantly go to vulnerability. Because she's guarded. And until Michelle, until I can give you some vulnerability, you're not going to share anything with me, right? So what I would be like, hey, let me tell you a story. One of my goals this year was to run a marathon. And I've been struggling so much getting up in the morning, running. I've just had really low energy. I've not known what to do. So recently I actually went and I talked to my doctor, and he thought that he was unsure as to why I never had so much energy. And then he ordered this full blood workup. And then we realized close to the end of the year that I was diagnosed with late onset type 1 diabetes. I just had no energy to run. I would have never even known this. And if you had asked me 2 months ago, I would have said I was sucking with my goals because I'm nowhere close to running this marathon I had. But now I realize what I need. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my same goal for next year. I've given her some vulnerability, right? Now I need to make this next question super easy. Please do not just rip off. Do not change these questions, right? Here's what I tell them. Hey, so without going into your goals, always say this, without going into your goals, she instantly puts her guard down, right? Without going into your goals, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you haven't made any progress, 10 being you've achieved all of them, where would you say you are without using the number 7? The 7's the cop-out answer. Because you know what? Everybody says, oh, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with your goals? How many times have you heard that? It's that same dumbass question that no one has ever thought about. But if you say without using the number 7, now you're forcing her to think. She has to choose whether she's a 6 or an 8. Okay? She's not an 8, I will tell you right now. right? So she's going to say, standard answer, I'm a 4 or 5. You're like, okay, what would get you to or 8 or 9? And you just shut up. Whatever inherent desire you have to say another word, shut up. Because you just asked her the most important question, because what she did is she accepted. That's the first phase. She accepted where she is. You gave her vulnerability and a safe space to share. She told you that she was a 4 to 5. You asked her what it would take to be an 8 or 9. And now you just have to listen. I promise you, she is not going to tell you anything if you don't give her vulnerability. Or she's going to beat around the crappy issues. If you're in the health world, you can say, hey, on a 1 to 10 scale of your health goals, where are you between 1 and 10? Can't use the number 7. Ha. You can do that. But you can make it contextual. Good so far. That's the first 5 minutes of the acceptance part of the conversation. The second 5 minutes is the clarification. Whatever she says, I'm just writing down. And I promise you, I'm writing down the exact words that she's using. My goal right then, after she finishes writing it down, I first say, hey, thank you so much for being so open to sharing that. You got to validate and confirm the vulnerability and the acceptance. So she feels like she just didn't tell you and you're going to rip her to shreds. Because you know what she's thinking? She's thinking right now, I'm going to tell Sharran all my problems and he's going to start solving them. You don't solve them. What you do is you say thank you, and then you say, hey, if it's okay with you, my favorite thing you'll hear me say is, if it's okay with you, let me just clarify a few things that I wrote down. Because when you say the few things that I wrote down, she's now thinking, oh my gosh, he took notes, he cares. A few things that I wrote down. Hey, you wrote down that you're coming up on a milestone birthday and you want to have 6-pack abs. Shit, I do too, right? You're coming up on this and you want that. You really have a strong feeling. If she says, I have a strong feeling towards, write those words because you're giving her the same words back because now she feels heard in that way. You're just clarifying what she said, right? At this point, you have a choice. You have a choice on whether you can help Michelle or you can't help Michelle. And do not mess up this choice. If you cannot help her, don't help her. Like, if you cannot help her, don't sell her on anything. I always find people saying, it's not right in my wheelhouse, but I'm going to try to jam like a couple of sessions in anyway. No reason to do that. What you do right then is you say, hey, based on this, to the private clients that I work with, whoever needs this level of stuff, I actually partner up with a really great coach and mentor. Here's what Craig Ballantyne does. And you just walk through Craig's bio. Would you be interested if in having a call with Craig, I can even jump on the call with you or I can make a soft introduction. I'll tell Craig the background, 10 minutes, but I think he's the really great next natural step for you. Is it okay if I make that introduction? Instantly, if it's not, you just refer it out. But now the question becomes, what if you can help? You have 4 minutes left in the call. What can you do to help? Here's what you say. Right at that point, whenever I time all my calls, when I get my phone out, I put a timer on. As soon as I hit the 10-minute mark in the call, I say, hey, I only have 4 minutes left and I want to respect your time. You never say that before. If you say that, oh, we only have 15 minutes, let's get right to it, bro, like you can't do that. But when you hit the 10-minute mark and you say, hey, we have 4 minutes left, I want to respect your time, so here's what I suggest, right? And she's going to be like, huh? I wonder what he's going to suggest. Number one, thank you for not wasting my time. Number two, I wonder what he's going to suggest. All that you're going to do is you're going to make an agenda for when you're going to pitch him again. I'm not joking. He's like, you want to talk about this. So you want to talk about the 3 things that I wrote down are, number one, we need to have planned to get your 6-pack abs. Number 2, we want to make sure you have increased energy at night. And number 3, we want to make sure that you sleep really well. Yes, okay. That's when you say, what I'd love to do is this. I want to go back and put together a small presentation for you. And I say presentation because it allows me to put some thought into how I'm going to show you some strategies around this. Do you have your calendar in front of you? And of course, she's going to say yes. Hey, what does next week look like? Do not say this. Have you heard the sales close? Hey, does Tuesday at 2 or Wednesday at 4 work better? Have you heard that? No, have you heard that? Please don't ever say that in your life ever again. Do you know why? Some dumbass wrote it in a script book that you should say that. But you know why that's really bad? People say, oh, I give them a 50-50 shot around that. You're not giving them a 50-50 shot. You're giving them a 2-hour option in a 40-hour work week. You have a 1 out of 20 shot for them to say yes. Those are the odds of you getting a yes. You are boxing yourself into getting a no. Never say that. You may be thinking, well, then what the heck do I say, Sharran? Right? I will give you that in 1 second. You say, look at your calendar. What does next week look like? Not what is Wednesday at 2 or Thursday at 4. What does next week look like? Oh, you're going to start looking. Take your time. He's like, well, and then as she's thinking, saying, well, should we look at Wednesday or Thursday? Give the broad options. Oh, Wednesday is better. I can do any time after 4 or any time before 1. Give them big blocks. Now they feel like they have to make something work. Okay? Your job right then, you've not even told them what it is for. They're already in calendar zone. You want to get like a 30 minutes or 45 minutes on the calendar? And your entire job there is for you to present. That's the entire job. Your entire job there is to find a time so that you can pitch them on something else. Good? Okay. Does this process work? The first one is get acceptance. The second one is clarify. And if they're not the right fit, refer. If they're the right fit, set up the agenda for your real presentation and get the presentation on the calendar. Good, helpful? Okay. If you just did that, it'll skyrocket everything that you're doing. All right, so I'm going to take a pause. I want to make sure that this is somewhat helpful to you as we're going through this process, mechanically speaking. Like give me a nod or a smile or something. Yeah. All right, okay. I wanted to share all of this with you so that I can get to this next part of the puzzle. I want to show you how to create clients for life. And I'm going to share a framework with you that you have never heard anywhere. Where's my man, Isaac Lara? Isaac's heard this. Isaac's in our mastermind group. He's heard this. It's called the EQ IQ rollover. I'm going to show you exactly how to pitch to a client in the most simple way where they become a client for life. Now, I've asked the question, if I were to tell you, I am your client for life, one of the things that people always say is, if I told you you have a client for life, would you agree? Why do you want clients for life? Money. Why else? Referrals for life, right? If you have a client for life, you're getting referrals for life, right? What if I could tell you that you could present your value proposition in such a way that most people think that I got to go provide Sharran a great level of service or product, and after I've done all of that, he's going to be impressed with me that he's then going to refer me to other people. We think that, is that right? Is that fair to say? We always if I do a great job for them, they will refer me to other people. Isn't that natural? Come on, isn't that natural? Yes. What if I told you that you never have to render any service and right after you make a presentation, you get clients for life? You don't even have to provide a service. They will become a client for life and referring your business if you just present the right way. Okay? And I want to show you, that's called the EQ IQ roll. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that right now. So my entire job of this clients for life thing is to show you how to do something like that. All right. So so you think the goal of the presentation is to win business? Based on what I just said? No. The goal is to take that whole presentation process and create a client for life right now. Imagine this. All of us are thinking, I got this video that I did. I got them on this calendar page. I got them on this 15-minute strategy call. Now I'm gonna close them. No. You should be thinking, I don't want to close them now. I want to create a client for life. So I'm going to take you through this process to create client for life. All right? Are you guys ready for this? You may need your phones and take a bunch of pictures. So here we go. This is called the EQ IQ rollover. There's 3 steps to this process. 3 steps to this process. Step number one. When you are in the meeting, when you're in the meeting with the client, may it be a live meeting or a Zoom meeting, I'm going to suggest to you that when you present, you have to present in some visual way. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Please try not to present on the phone. You need either a video or a live meeting. And when you present, the greatest presentation tool is when you write. The greatest presentation. I would write and draw. That's the greatest presentation tool. So, how many of you have been taught that, how many of us have been taught that, hey, in the first part of the meeting, we should always get rapport? Rapport. Oh my gosh, like, your children ski in Aspen? Well, we ski in Aspen too. You like the Nike Air Jordans? I wear them too. Like, you want to get similarities and commonalities, and you think that just because there are similarities and commonalities, that they're going to like you more. That's what we've been told. But that's ridiculous. You know why? Because we're so distracted in today's world. They got on the call with you. They don't need that right now. They need to get into mechanical rapport. Mechanical rapport. And here's how you get into mechanical rapport. Please, I'm gonna say this and I'll say it twice. I'll say it once and then you write it down and say it the second time. When you can state the problem better than your client, they automatically assume that you have the solution. Say it again. When you can state the problem better than your client, they automatically assume that you have the solution. You don't have the solution. It's just a problem. What do we talk about the problem? It's like penny and down. We said, hey, what do I do if I want to buy a home, but I have to sell my home first? Have you ever wondered how hard it is to buy a home without selling your home first? Have you ever wondered that late night cravings really upset your keto? Have you ever wondered how someone can go 16 hours in intermittent fasting? Have you ever wondered, you're stating the problem better. Like, I'm thinking exactly what you're stating, right? That's exactly what I want. So part of the mechanical rapport is this. You already built the agenda from last time. And you say, hey, Michelle, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I want to make this time super respectful for you. I want to cover 3 big things today. We talked about getting a six-pack, having higher energy, and making sure we have good sleep. If we covered these 3 things in the next 15 minutes, I'm assuming you will feel really good, right? She's not going to say no, because otherwise she's a jerk, right? And now she's like, oh my gosh, he said he was going to do this on the last call. He said it again. I'm excited because he's completely congruent with his promise. Good? Okay. The entire idea of mechanical rapport is this. You need to get them into one place, one emotional place. He understands. He understands. Michelle needs to be thinking this. Michelle needs to be thinking, I'm so glad I came to this call. He understands. As soon as Michelle says he understands, I am 1/3 of the way there. I have 1/3 won already. I have won just by doing the agenda and restating the agenda. He understands is what I'm shooting for. Now you may say, like, what happens next? Here's what I want to do next. This is a Jedi mind trick. You want to create complete overwhelm for them in the next few minutes. I call this the silent overwhelm. All right? Let me show you how to do it. I don't know any other way, but this is how I do it. So let's say I'm either in person or on a Zoom call with them. I say, Michelle, we talked about 3 things. It's your six-pack. We talked about your energy. And we talked about your sleep. Whenever you think about a six-pack, you may be thinking, what diet do I need? How much rest do I need to get? Do I need to take any supplements? And oh my gosh, you must be dreading about the workouts. But in the workouts, you're like, should I actually do cardio? Or do I lift? Or do I walk? Or do I do Pilates? Or do I do P90X? Or in my diet, do I do keto? Or do I do South Beach? Or do I do low carb? Or in my supplements, do I take vitamin D? Do I take a multivitamin? Do I take a gummy bear? What do I do? And then in the six-pack, do I take a before and after photo? It's like, is that actually a thing? Should I continue to do that? But to do all of this, you need energy, right? You may be thinking, I need 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks. I've given up on the cappuccinos. I've gone to the monster drinks. Maybe I've gone to the Diet Rockstar, but I still don't get a lot of energy, so maybe I should sleep in for a little bit, but Sharran told me he needs to be a part of this 5 a.m. club. Like, how do I need this energy? And then I talk about sleep. And, I have so much work to do. I try to go to bed at 9, but that's the only time my husband and I get to unwind. And so we actually drink a little bit of wine. Man, I have like 100 bottles of wine in my closet. Like, what do I do with that? I can't just give it away. And, what do we go to dinner? Like, pizza is my favorite place. Do I not go to eat pizza? Like, that's not going to work at night. And you're going to tell me I need like a chili pad or a sleep mattress bed? And you must be thinking that. And then, do I actually set 1 alarm or 2 alarms? What do I do when I wake up in the morning? Do I get an Oura ring to actually manage my... Why am I doing this? I'm completely overwhelming her. How many of you were like slightly overwhelmed when I started doing this? This is my entire job. My entire job is to keep going in free flow, to completely overwhelm them. And I want 90% overwhelm and 10% humor. She's like, shit, yes, yes. Because once that happens, I'm 2/3 of the way in. I cannot pitch. I cannot show value. I cannot show conversion. I cannot show a change in what I can bring from a transformation perspective if I don't show them the overwhelm that they don't know that they have. They think they have a problem which is at a one single level. They have no idea that it's like 17 levels deep. And if you don't break all this out, you have no idea how to unpack any of this stuff. Okay? This is my stage 2 of the EQ, IQ. The EQ is the emotional, the IQ is the intelligence. So if I look to you on the slides, the EQ is the emotional, right? So we talked about this. Here's what I want you to get to. From he understands to he's right. To he's right. She should be thinking right now, shit, he's right. If I can get to he's right, I've won. Till you get to he's right, there is no overwhelm means no problem. No problem means no need for solution. No need for solution means no need for you. You get that, right? And if this does not overwhelm them, it's okay because they are not the right fit anyway. Okay? My job is to create insane, silent overwhelm right now. Because I want to go from he understands to he's right. Emotionally, I have won. But intellectually, Michelle's not bought in yet. Here's what Michelle needs to buy in right now. I need to show her, I need to get her to relief and safety. She's overwhelmed. You don't give her a plan, you give her safety. You give her safety that you can solve the problem. Safety is everything. Because only with safety is she willing to pay for you to take her through that transformation. Now you're going to ask me, Sharran, how do you go from this to creating safety? Let me show you. So you say, this is when you go to the next page or next slide and you're thinking, Michelle, I want to walk you through my framework in which I use to work with my clients. So you go to safety right now. Safety is always in structure. There are 4 structures that you can use to actually show safety. I've not seen any of these 4 will work. I've not seen others, but here are the 4. First one, we have a 4-phase process to get you from here to a 6-pack. Okay? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Let me walk you through it. It takes all that pain and makes it into 4 phases. Good? If that doesn't work for your business, there's another way to do it. That's the phased approach. The second way is to do the pie chart. And I would generally break it up into 4. And you can say there are 4 pieces that come together to actually make sure you can get the six-pack of your dreams, right? Number 1, diet. Number 2, rest. Number 3, sleep. Number 4, exercise. Let me walk you through it. Good? Okay. The third way is the strongest shape in the world. Strongest shape in the world. A triangle is the strongest shape in the world. You can say, Michelle, we think about the world where we really want to get you to the pinnacle of your goals, but there needs to be a base and then a structure that gets built on top. I use the 3-step process. Here it is, whatever, rest, diet, meditation, whatever it may be. Let me walk you through it. Okay? It does not matter what is in these boxes. You understand that, right? I am going from like complete overwhelm to a structure. And you're like, I feel safe. I feel safe. If you don't do that, they don't feel safe. They need a structure because now what they're hiring is you to deliver that structure, because now they may see this structure, they see this 4-phase plan, they know they can't execute it on their own, but they find safety in the plan, and they know that you can guide them through that safety. If you don't have a structure for establishing this, there's no framework for them to sink their teeth into. Good so far? I'm going to give you the 4th one, my favorite way. There's 4 frameworks. So you would not do all 4, right? You would say, here's my 4-phase plan, here's this, but my 4th one is this. This works when you're doing, how many of you have any consultants in the room? Any consultants? So consultants, very good for consultants. This is my favorite part. You do the part 4 is a workflow. If you show them confidence around how you can do a workflow, things get very exciting. There are some folks in this room who are part of our high-level mastermind program in our real estate technology business. And here's what we do. A lot of times, me and my partner will get on a Zoom video call, and instead of just teaching and doing Ask Me Anything, when a question is asked, we build stuff live. We build a funnel live, we build the automation live, we build the screen, we do everything live in front of people. And it gives them insane confidence that we know what we're doing. I can build anything live in my business, live, right? So here's what I do on the workflow. So I would tell Michelle something like this. So Michelle, here's what we're gonna do. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a XYZ test. Once based on those test results, if you get results this, and this, we're gonna actually take this part of it and we're going to go there. We're going to take this part of it and we're going to go there. And based on that, we're going to go here and we're going to build this. And once we build this, we're going to build this, and then you win. If it comes down this way, we're going to go on this one. We're going to do this test and this test to verify that we're good. Once we do this test, we're going to go here. We're going to put a plan together, and then we're going to go to our matrix, and that matrix will deliver this result. It's the same thing. You already know it. If someone tells you they need something, what are you going to say? Hey, go get your BMI test. Go get this done. Go get that done. Once we get your glucose levels, we do this. We know that. We do. You're just walking them through your thought process. When they see that, when they see you have insane domain expertise in how you can take them from right here, where they are, to right here, where they want to go, they know that you can deliver the in-between. 4 ways to do it. Way number 1, phases. Way number 2, circle, pie chart. Way number 3, triangle. Way number 4, workflow. I'm going super tactical. This is stuff that you will never see. Would you agree? This is me presenting to a $1 billion client. You will never see this stuff. But this is how you should do this, because you're in a meeting and you're going through a pitch deck or saying, let me do this, let me do that. But when you do this, amazing things start to happen. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. How many of you believe that you could use phases in your business? Phases. Oh, cool. Almost okay. How many of you think that a pie chart is the right for you? Okay, good. How many of you think that a triangle may be something good for you? Okay, good. How many of you like nerdy workflow? Okay, awesome. Where's my thing? So this this agent that I went to this appointment with in New Zealand, right? You must be thinking, Sharran, blah, blah, blah. You told me blah, blah, blah. Tell me that you actually do what you say you do. Because you said when we started that the only things that you share with us are the things that you do. Don't be full of shit and show me what you do. I actually got the client in New Zealand to agree to record a part of my presentation. And that part is the EQ IQ rollover part. Would you like me to show it to you? Yes. Now, the reason I want to share this with you is this. If you can get from he understands to he's right to I'm right. I am right is the emotion that allows them to know that they made the right decision by choosing to work with you, therefore they will pay you. They're not going to pay you because they're impressed by you. They're going to pay you why? Because they made the right decision. It's all about them. And you have to make them feel like they made the right decision. Right here, they're like, Sharran can take me from here to here. I made the right decision by getting on the call with Sharran. If they can't go from he understands to he's right to I'm right, you're not selling squat. When you chose to come here and you're sitting here, you're like, when you're sitting in this room, you're saying, you don't say, I'm glad that Sharran is speaking today. You're like, I'm glad I came today. Right? You're not saying, oh, I'm so glad that Craig paid all this money to bring all these speakers. No, you're like, I'm glad I flew from Toronto to be here. Aren't you? You're validating that you are right. That's this entire point. It's from the EQ to the IQ. Okay? Let me show you a part of the presentation that I did for the client. Let's guess. Can we guess? I don't have a wallet. Can we guess which of the 4 structures did I use? So hold on. If you believe, do not vote twice. Not cool. If you believe that I used phases, raise your hand. 1. Okay, good. If you believe that I used circa pie chart, raise your hand. Okay. If you believe that I used triangle. If you believe that I used workflow. Am I such a dead giveaway or what? You guys are good. I appreciate that. Now I'm thinking, I'm right. I feel good about this. No judgment, because here's the funny part. While you're presenting, you guys are not seeing the nuances in that room. So you may be like, oh, I would have done that differently. That's not what this is for. I want you to show you exactly what I showed them on the screen. Okay? Let me play this.
Know that it's our job to bring you an offer that you want at a price that you want, or the terms that you want, and that's all got to do with buyers. So we've got buyers who have registered with us from a wide variety of sources in our database, in open homes, in inquiries of the past. And so we don't know if they're ready to buy yet. So we put them through what we call a home buyer masterclass to ensure that they can buy the home in the right way. Because at the end, when we can get them to a masterclass, we know that they have learned to buy a home in today's market. So here's what we do. We actually take them and we try to send them to a page and we say, hey, listen, do you actually want to buy a home in today's market? Now, how do we actually get to that page? We send all of them 3 to 4 emails and we say with different stories on how they can learn to buy a home in today's market. That all leads to the registration page. Once they hit the registration page, they go to a thank you page, and then they get a series of emails saying that the masterclass is ready. Once they've watched the masterclass, there's a series of appointment setting emails and text messages that nudges them to take the appointments. And once they do, we know that they're ready to buy in today's market. And if they don't, we drop them back and we continue to nurture them so that we can bring them to homes like yours, so we can bring you an offer that you want at a price that you want at the terms that you want.
Yeah. So do you win or do I win? If you go into an appointment and I'm going up against you and I'm doing this, you have no chance. But the interesting part is I don't have to do anything. I just draw. right? You know this stuff. If I told you to do a workflow in your business, could you do it? And I didn't make this up on the spot. Like, I prepared. I'm not an idiot, right? Like, I prepared before I went in. And I don't even know how he allowed me to like record this, but because he told me, he's like, hey, you can't have me saying anything. So I had to cut his stuff out, right? But I wanted to show you that if I had shown you this when I'd started, you'd have been like, whatever. But when I showed you this now at the end of the EQ IQ, you're like, I see what Sharran was doing this, right? There's a lot of power in something like this, because most of the time when we get into high pressured, high stake pitch presentation situations, we walk in and we think that we got to like blow them away with our pitch, but the pitch is not the answer. It is he understands. He's right. I'm right. When you do that, a lot of things happen. How many of you would you say, like, when you saw that, this was not what you were expecting? Okay, this was like somewhat entertaining. And like, did it bring home the point of the workflow? Okay, so it's janky, it's not fancy, but it works, right? So, attract, commit, clarify, clients for life. Does this process give you guys a better sense of this entire thing? So let's take like 14 seconds and recap the whole thing. You want to use the questions that you already get in posts or in emails to get people to attract them. Link them to a calendar page, 15-minute calendar page. I gave you some tips around that. Once you get on the calendar page, you have a 15-minute strategy session. The strategy session is getting them to accept, to clarify, and then either refer out or build an agenda. Once you get the agenda, please don't say Tuesday at 2 or Wednesday at 4. You're getting them to actually give you more options. Once you do that, when you start mechanical rapport is going through the agenda, giving them silent overwhelm. You should be so excited to give them silent overwhelm, right? And then you actually go through the process of giving them a structure after. Good? So I want to tell you a very quick story. I did this for this guy, right? I did this for this guy. And now this developer, this client in New Zealand, has become a really good friend of mine in the last 90 days. And he said something to me which was super interesting. He said something to me, and he used these words. He's like, Sharran, I love how you break down complex stuff in simple ways. Then he said, Sharran, I love how you actually introduce an idea that I never thought about. Sharran, I love how you do blank. Sharran, I love how you do blank. And I was thinking, he's saying thank you, but he's not saying thank you. He's just telling me what he loves, that things that I do. And it made me feel really good. Because what has our society done for us right now? When I say thank you, when I say Michelle, when I say thank you, you're like, oh, cool, thank you, you're welcome. And you just move on. We get so many thank yous and you're welcomes that we brush the thank yous and welcomes aside. Would you agree, conceptually speaking? But if someone tells you, Michelle, I love your hair, like, you get a lot fewer I love your hair than thank you on a given day. Would you agree? And you're like, oh, thank you. Like, I totally, like, that's awesome, right? When he started telling me this, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's not about gratitude. Like, clients for life is not about gratitude. Because what we do is, how many of you do like client appreciation parties? That's cool, but like we're telling clients thank you. How many of you are like, oh, I'm going to give clients a closing gift at the end of the transaction. I'm going to drop off gifts at their homes. I'm going to do like thank you events. That's cool. But gratitude is interesting. The client doesn't come there and be like, oh, I went to Sharran's client appreciation party. That's how we promote it. But I think there's something bigger than gratitude. For all the next time you see me, I'm going to continue to harp on this message over and over again. It's a simple one, but it's an important one, and I've tried to build this into my family as well. It's a really important one. And we used to say, oh, I'm going to crush my gratitudes. Have you guys heard that? I'm going to crush my gratitudes. Well, like I wake up in the morning and I crushed my gratitudes. What does that mean? And then you find the guru saying, oh, close your eyes and visualize and step into your gratitude. Like what is that? I'm sorry, like I'm not that evolved to step into I don't know how to do that, right? I'm thinking, I've tried, it doesn't work for me, right? I'm trying. I'm actually a very like grateful guy, I'm trying. So I was thinking like, what's better? Like this client told me like what's better? And I really believe that encouragement is way better. Like, I'm not saying don't say thank you, but encouragement is so much more powerful, so much better. And if you're a sports fan, I have this clip I've been showing so many people. You may have seen it from what I had shown, but I want to show it to you too. There's this clip from Steve Kerr, who's a coach of the Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry. And it's a little fuzzy on the audio, but I want you to hear, it's not even 45 seconds, so I want you to hear this clip and I'll tell you what I mean by it.
I would love to feel whatever the hell you're feeling right now, just once in my life. For me, like, if I went like 5 for 6 and made 4 threes, that was about the best I ever did. Here's what I'm gonna show you. That's your shooting totals, that's your plus minus. All right, so it's not always tied together. You're doing great stuff out there. The tempo is so different when you're out there. Everything you generate for us is so positive. It shows up here, not always there, but it always shows up here. You're doing great. Carry on, my son.
Carry on, my son. Like, how powerful is carry on, my son? That's my son. His name is Neil. He's 8 years old. He's a really good soccer player, because I don't even know how to kick a ball, but he's a really good soccer player. My Irish friends back there, you guys, that's why I made the Arsenal joke to you. He's a really good soccer player. And I pick him up from practice. I drop him off at games. He does a really good job. He has neither me or my wife know anything about soccer, so we just cart him around, and whatever the coaches say, we do, right? He's 8. He's a really talented kid. And when he gets in the car after a practice or after a game, I don't know what to say to him. I don't know what to say, like, hey, great job, brother. Great job. You did good. Like, I don't know, what do you say? It's weird. So I've started to say this, and I say, I love watching you play. I see the twinkle in his eyes. Like, I start to tear up when I say that to him every time. And for the person that says, crush your gratitude, to step into your gratitude, I think that's what they meant. I think that you're putting yourself in an insane out-of-body experience where you get to feel something so much bigger than yourself. I've said thank you, I've said sorry, I've said I feel shameful, but when I tell somebody, I love watching you play, I love how you show up for work, I love your hair, whatever it may be, when I do that, when I give the encouragement, it completely transforms how I show up. Completely transforms it. So if you take nothing away from today, I think there's a chance for you to go home, go back to kind of your day-to-day, not your bump and grind, but your new life. Because you stepping here, being here today, working through the experience that Craig and his team have put together for you, I believe that you are in a better place from when you showed up on Thursday night to when you're going to leave tomorrow, right? I believe that. And if I believe that for you, you should believe that for you, because you made the commitment to doing that. So I love that you made the time to be here. I love that you made the time to invest in what it means for you. I love that you made the time and the investment to share in this like mini weekend for your growth. And I hope these last kind of 60 minutes was helpful to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.